It's time to get our bowling shoes and hit the lanes, because today we're celebrating 200 episodes of the Dissect That Film Podcast. And what better way to celebrate it than by talking about one of the best comedies around, 1996's Kingpin. Let's go! Strike!
Flip the switches to maximum amplification as Parker, Dan, and Angela prepare for their operation. With trivia and plot points scrawled across their walls, laughter and debate erupts as the movie's drama calls. The world may call them crazy, minds gone astray, but genius and passion and madness all dance the same way. Now the show begins to rise from its broadcast realm, and you can open your eyes as we dissect that film.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dissect That Film Podcast, a podcast that dissects the good, the bad, and the ugly of cinema. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, my wonderful co-hosts, Dan and Angela.
Hello.
That was the wrong movie, by the way.
It's fine. It has to do with bowling, so it's fine. Oh, guys, it's been 200 episodes. 200 of just this podcast. Of this part of the podcast. We've done many, many more because we've done a lot of other stuff. But of the Dissect, the show that started it all, 200. You know, they say that a lot of podcasts can't make it past 10 episodes, maybe 12 episodes. And we said, fuck that. We knocked it out of the park. Actually, no, we fucking bowled a 300. Because that's relevant to the movie we were talking about today. But it's crazy. Do you guys remember the first time we sat down and talked about a movie? Like, do you actually remember?
Vaguely.
I don't.
I can't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. And you want me to remember that far back?
As of this recording, it is currently April 15th, is around the time we actually sat down for the first time and streamed the first episode of the podcast on Twitch. We didn't even put it on podcast services. It wasn't even on YouTube or anything. It was literally, you had to be on our Twitch stream or you missed out. And then it was like a month later, I decided I'm going to start posting them on podcast services. And 40,000 downloads later, almost 900 subscribers on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Amazing patrons over on patreon.com/dissect that film. And meeting so many amazing friends later. We're still doing this crazy shit. Are we better at it? I don't know.
No.
Some would say yes. Some would say yes. We all here say, not really.
Yes.
Angela, think you think we've been with that? We've improved over those 4 years.
I didn't improve. I couldn't even make it through
the. Spoiler alert.
No.
Spoiler alert. Angela couldn't even watch the whole movie for our 200th episode. Let's make her feel bad.
Hard. I tried twice. This didn't work.
Twice.
So was it the fact that you were tired, or were you just not into the movie?
Oh no, I was laughing so hard at this movie, and it made me so mad that I actually did fall asleep, and I didn't realize I had fallen asleep. I was sitting up on the couch like this, and I just wake up, and I was like, well, shit.
You just gotta pop it on your monitor like you used to do. Just pop it on the monitor, get to the point.
I know.
You fell asleep, just watch it while we're talking about and then once we get to the point, you've watched it, and then we're all set. It's fine.
To get it to come
Everyone will know, but it's all right. No one cares.
Nope.
I don't.
Has to know.
So, Kingpin from 1996.
Yes. First, he lost his hand. Then he lost his pride.
You wouldn't happen to have a Phillips head screwdriver, would you?
But when the man with the rubber hand meets the Amish kid with the golden arm, whoa, anything's possible.
Do not allow yourself to be corrupted.
Nothing can make me stray.
From the idiots that brung you Dumb and Dumber.
I will pay you $1 million to sleep with your friend here.
Kingpin. Directed by the Farrelly Brothers. Rated PG-13.
I guess we'll, since Angela, you said you didn't have a history with this movie. This was your first go around with it. So, Dan, what is your history with Kingpin?
I don't remember when I first watched this, but I remember this just being something that occurred sometime in my early teen years, hanging out with my cousin, watching movies. My cousin Seth. We always talk, like I mentioned him before. It's just one he brought me into movies. Like he got me more into movies than I ever was in my life. But this is always one that came around, and it's like infinitely quotable.
Yes.
And in fact, there's one specific line, I'm not going to say it till we get to it, that my cousin would say a lot. And I
probably heard it on this show already because Dan has quoted this movie on other episodes.
This is one I have not done. Because
Oh.
I had heard it. I was like, oh shit, you used to say this all the time. I forgot this line. Angela will know when we get to it. But there's so much stuff. Like when when I say like, oh, I quote that movie all the time, she's like, no. And I was like, I do it to my cousin Seth. We play Tarkov on Saturday nights, and he's the one. He's the guy. Like I just do the. We'll just do the. Anyway, we'll cover it when we get into it. But anyway, yes, it's great. I love this movie. I don't know how. Like it's been a long time since I've seen it, but like when I was younger, I watched it a lot.
Yeah, I right there with you. Me and my brother, my dad would let us rent this movie. I don't know if he owned it or if we rented it a lot, but all I know is we watched it all the time. And I am a person who has mentioned many times on this show, I'm not a big sports movie fan. Like I don't really care about a lot of movies that are about sports, but this one just felt different because it's a comedy. And it really doesn't just focus on the sport at hand. And when the things are actually happening with that sport, they make it comedic, where it's not taking itself overly serious. And then the outcome is really not what you would expect from most sports movies, right? It's usually
it is.
We'll talk about it later, but yeah, the ending of the movie is very different than what you would expect when you would sit down and watch most sports movies, where it's like the good guy, or that team is down on its luck. Oh, it found a way to win, or underdog. Yeah, it's like this movie was like, nah, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do something different and fun, and maybe a little raunchy. Now this movie is pretty raunchy for a PG-13 movie.
It is. It really is.
Which is crazy because I swear when I was growing up, I thought this was rated R. But I think because it was PG-13 that my mom actually didn't care that we watched this movie. This was one I think I had watched many times at my mom's house because it was PG-13. My mom didn't care about that. She just wouldn't let us watch R.
Yep.
Where my dad didn't care.
Practically there.
Yeah. There is an R-rated version of this movie. And I'm going to talk about it because I've watched the R-rated version yesterday. Along with the original PG-13 cut, which is what everyone's seen. I think the rated R cut didn't come out until the DVD came out.
Yeah, I think I watched this primarily like VHS. There maybe was DVD at one time.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
For me, it was like I think this is the first time I had seen it not on VHS. I haven't seen this movie in a very long time. It's probably been close to 20 years since I've actually seen this movie. But sitting down and watching it, I'm like, I remember everything. Like it didn't seem new to me. When I'm watching the rated R cut of the movie, when they include, because all they did was add scenes that some of them make no sense. Where I'm watching, I'm going, why is this in here? It's so, who thought this was a good idea to place the scene here? Some of them are just added on to like certain scenes. And then there's one specific one, which I'll mention when we get to it, where I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why is this here? But yeah. So, Kingpin was directed by Peter and Bobby Farrelly, who directed such wonderful comedies such as Dumb and Dumber, Shallow Hal, Me, Myself, and Irene, which is another one I'd love to cover on this show. That is one of my favorite comedies ever.
It's so good.
There's Something About Mary, and the 2007 remake of The Heartbreak Kid, which is a weird ass movie.
I'm not familiar with that one. I just know about HBK.
It was written by Barry Fanaro, who is well known for writing a lot of episodes of the Golden Girls, 125 episodes of the Golden Girls.
Damn.
He also wrote a screenplay for Men in Black 2 and I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, which, to be honest, is an underrated comedy.
Never heard of that.
Also kind of outdated. You've never heard of I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry?
Nope.
With Adam Sandler and Kevin James, where they have to pretend to be a gay couple in order to get benefits because they're firefighters in New York or something like that, or it's like health insurance or something.
No.
What? All right.
Nope.
Wow.
It was also written by Mort Nathan, who wrote. Well, these are some bangers: Boat Trip, Van Wilder 2.
Oh boy.
The Rise of Taj, and Bag Boy. He was also a writer for Golden Girls. He's actually worked alongside Barry Finaro for quite a while. They actually have a production company now.
Okay, so they feed off one another pretty well, so that's probably why they're together. Okay, that's fair.
Platypus Man.
I would watch Platypus Man. I'm just kidding. That's not true. He's the only venomous human.
It's very true.
There you
go. Music was done by Freddie Johnston. I was looking through to see if I recognize anything he's done music for, and no, there's literally nothing. He's mostly a musician. He doesn't really do a lot of scores. There was a lot of music like on the soundtrack, which I love the soundtrack to this movie, by the way. Like the songs that they picked for this is really good. Always every time it would come on, like that Superman song.
Yeah, by Goldfinger.
Yeah, like that song is always stuck in my head every time I hear it.
Dude, that song, I don't know if it's this movie or Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Yes, that's where I heard it was Kingpin. And then I remember playing Tony Hawk on N64 and the song was on that, and I was like, "Oh shit. That's the Kingpin song."
I think that was it. And then my what used to be my friend when I was younger, he bought the album that it was on, because I think he watched this with me. It was either he watched this with me or it was because of Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Great song.
So our cast, we have Woody Harrelson as Roy Munson, and Will Rothhar as young Roy, who we'll see in the beginning of this movie. Randy Quaid as Ishmael Borg, Vanessa Angel as Claudia, Bill Murray as Ernie Big Ern McCracken. Of course, this is how many movies have we covered with Bill Murray? Is this the third? 2 Ghostbusters, is that it?
I think.
Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I forgot to change my shirt. My wife bought me a brand new Ghostbuster shirt, and I went, I'm going to wear that for our Kingpin episode. Whatever. No. I'm not changing now.
Too late.
Vanessa Angel, funny enough, she did a movie called Spies Like Us, I think it was called.
Okay.
Which had Dan Aykroyd and, Chevy Chase. So, another movie where she worked alongside some SNL alums. Yeah, I it's funny because like anytime I think of Vanessa Angel, I just think of this movie. Like I don't know her in anything else other than that Spies Like Us, but I don't even remember. I think I've seen that movie once and I couldn't tell you what the hell happens in it. They were on a mountain. That's all I remember. There's a lot of snow in that movie. Same with Randy Quaid. We've never talked about Randy Quaid on the show.
No,
because we haven't done it. We haven't done Independence Day, which actually came out the same year. Came out actually before this movie. It actually came around. I think it came out around the same time because this came out. So this was released July 26, 1996. I think Independence Day was like July. It had to have been around July 4th, right? So this came out like 3 weeks after Independendence Day.
That's so funny.
That's crazy. Lynn Shay as Mrs. Dumars. I didn't know that was her name. I don't remember ever hearing the landlady's name, but yeah, there's a great story about her. We'll talk more about her when we get to her scenes. Rob Moran as Stanley Osmansky. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of who was the guy that Gwen Stefani was married to? He was a singer of was it Bush?
Yeah.
Gavin DeGraw, is that, or Gavin?
No, it's oh my gosh.
It's Gavin, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure, but I cannot. Oh my god, I see his face.
Yeah. Wait, we're gonna look it up right now. Gavin Rosdale.
Yes,
that's who he looked like. I was like, is this Gavin Rosdale? He was an actor, and no. So this guy was in a lot of Farrelly Brothers movies. He was in Dumb and Dumber. He was in Something About Mary, Me, Myself, and Irene. He's the cop in Me, Myself, and Irene who like is always bullying Jim Carrey's character. Which, funny enough, Jim Carrey actually was the first choice to play McCracken. So, but I think I'm trying to think, what would he have been doing at this time? I don't know if he turned it down or 96? If he just couldn't do it. Yeah, because this is after Batman Return or Batman Forever. So it was 96.
Ace Ventura 2?
Maybe. Yeah, because the first one was 90. The first one was 94. Yeah, you could be right. Did it come out?
Look, wife's trying to find for us.
Yeah, and Chris Elliott's in this movie for like a half a second. He's in a couple pretty good scenes, and there's some cameos that we'll mention when we get to those certain scenes. But so according to the Farrelly Brothers, Michael Keaton was actually the first choice for Roy.
Thank God.
Chris Farley.
Oh, she found it out. What? His cable guy.
That came out in 96.
Okay. Yeah. Chris Farley was up for Ishmael at one point.
Yep.
And then Charles Rocket was considered for Ernie McCracken. I don't know who that is.
I have no fucking clue who that is.
He's I guess a former cast member of Saturday Night Live. Oh, he was in Dumb and Dumber. He was the villain in Dumb and Dumber, and he was in Hocus Pocus. Who's Dave Dennis? Oh, the dad from Hocus Pocus. I didn't know he died. He died in 2005. Yeah, he was 56 years old. I guess he was a former cast member for SNL. Interesting. Yeah, the Jim Carrey one was not that surprising, especially since he's worked with Farrelly Brothers multiple times.
Yep.
So this was released around the same time that the 96 Olympics was happening. So financially, this movie didn't do very good. It had a $25 million budget and only made $32.2 million at the box office. And the Farrellys were pretty adamant. They're like, yeah, we feel that the Olympics happening at that time, like, screwed us over when it came to, like, because a lot of people were staying home watching the Olympics, not going to the movies. I also think there's other factors too. You got to think Independence Day was still probably in theaters at that time, which was a monster of a hit.
Oh yeah.
And there was other movies in 96 that were doing probably pretty good at that time. And July is a good time to release a movie, but yeah, I could see the Olympics kind of being a factor. And that was a big one. I think the 96 was that the Atlanta Olympics?
Yep. Because that's when I lived down there, and I had two friends in the opening ceremonies, and they were at the park when the bombs went off.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, but I guess once it hit, home video, it like skyrocketed. Like people, like me and Dan's history with this movie is constantly renting it or watching it on VHS, which is, how it originally came out. And I mean, this would have been a great movie to see on the big screen, but like comedies are weird, man. Like, like especially nowadays, comedies don't make money. They just don't.
No.
Like, I mean, you were talking before we got on here, the fact that you guys saw the Minecraft movie. It's a comedy, I guess, but it's because it's a Minecraft movie, right?
That movie's like a gangbusters,
right?
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is an original comedy, right? Like most of the Farrelly Brothers stuff is all, exactly. So I don't think it would have done well even today. Like, a comedy about bowling? Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna wait for that to drop on Netflix.
Basketball, that's where it's at.
Yes. God, we need to cover basketball. We need to cover Team America.
Dude, there's so many good
South Park.
We were talking about
better
earlier,
in our cut.
like you were talking about earlier about sports movies, and I was thinking about like there's actually a lot of sports movies that I like, even though I'm not the biggest.
Most of them are comedies for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Remember the Titans is like one of my favorite sports movies of all time because that movie's fantastic. I mean, it's Denzel Washington, Will Patton. It's iconic. It's got like all these young actors who like Ryan Gosling's in it, and was it the guy from Scrubs, Faison there? I can't remember his first name, but yeah, I mean, but it's always because we mentioned it earlier is the fact that like most sports movies have the same plot. And it's like, that's why I love this movie. Now I'm going to show we picked this movie because 2 out of the 3 of us love this movie. So, it's different. It's a different sports movie. And if you can make your sports movie unique, then it's going to be, I'm probably going to enjoy it. But when it's the same plot over and over again, it just gets repetitive and boring. And I just don't care about the characters. I remember loving The Blind Side. I thought The Blind Side was a great movie until I found out it was all bullshit. And now the guy that's based on is suing his foster parents or step parents or whatever the hell they're considered.
What sports movie I got that people don't talk about much anymore is I always like Varsity Blues.
Oh yeah, because isn't that a comedy?
It's good. It is.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
No, I love it.
Yeah,
been a long time.
So yeah, these old actually, I mean this. You good?
I bonked it. I'm sorry. Carry on.
But these this movie's almost 30 years old. And it still hits. It still lands. Like some of the jokes may be outdated, and it's 96. Like you got it. We talked about this when we talked about Get Shorty. It's you if you get super offended by some of the jokes that happen in this movie, then don't watch older movies. Like it.
Yeah, but
there's really no jokes in this that are like, holy shit, did they say that?
Yeah. There's nothing. I don't think, even as far as like a movie with jokes that dates and stuff, I didn't think there was really much in this movie. And, I'm kind of leaning on that shit anyway, but like nothing that stood out to be like, eh.
I think the only people that would get offended by this movie are the Amish. And they don't even have TVs to watch it. So,
yeah.
They'll never know.
You don't deserve a car.
You loser.
I hope you rot in hell, you loser. You suck. That's the line, dude. It fucking killed me when I heard it. I was like, you used to say that all the time. I love it.
Oh God. Well,
love it.
There's some other stuff we could talk about behind the scenes, but you know what? I want to hop into the plot of this movie and get through it because it's going to be fun to talk about. What's going on, everybody? It is Parker here to tell you about an amazing event called Livestream for the Cure. Since 2017, this event has raised over $100,000 for cancer research and to make the world immune to cancer. So join us Friday, May 16th from 4 p.m. to midnight and Saturday, May 17th from 8 a.m. to midnight as we try to raise money for an awesome cause. And if you want to see Dissect That Film and what they're going to be doing for their segment, make sure to join us on Saturday, May 17th at 12 p.m. for whatever shenanigans are about to happen. So please join us for another awesome year of Livestream for the Cure, 9 years running. See you then. So let's go. Let's hop into the plot of Kingpin. Are we ready?
Yes.
It's time to dissect that. Oh! You do that every time, and it just cuts out because it just peaks.
Good. I'll do it lower.
Nope.
Nothing.
See, didn't even pick it up.
I try. I fucking try. All
right. So, the movie opens in 1969 at Munson Service Center in Ocelot, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And a little boy named Roy, wow, I did not mean for that to rhyme, is happy to see his daddy, who's the guy who runs the service center. And I love it, though. It's like, oh, boy, look at you. And he like runs and like trips over the fence.
Yes. It's like, yes.
But they have a little bowling lane on the side of the service station. And he's a really good bowler. He's a natural. And his daddy says, you're going to grow up. You're going to be honest. You're going to be good. You're just going to be the best man that anybody would want to meet. And then we go to 1979. And we hear Disco Inferno. This is Disco Inferno, right?
Sure.
Baby. But yeah, it is. Yeah. I just sing the song to myself. And this is the state championship, right? Or is this just him showing off?
Yeah. It's the state championship.
Okay.
It's amateur. It's the
he already had the ring. So I'm guessing this was like he just went to the bowling alley to show off his ring.
Okay, yeah. That's probably what it was.
So he goes there, and we get to see cool Roy Munson. He is the best bowler around. He just won the state amateur championship. He's got his cool ring, and all the I don't think I've ever seen this many people in a bowling alley in my life. But they're all having a blast, and his dad shows up, and he's super proud of him. He does the move, which we only see once in the movie, which is kind of disappointing. I really wish he tried to do this move again as like a joke. The fact he can't, the one where the ball stops, spins in place, and then he does the splits to make it go, which he tries to do the splits later, but I wish he tried to do the ball thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, but he's the coolest, man. He is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
And so afterwards, he goes outside and he's going to be going on tour, and his dad's super proud. Like, this is one of those movies where I think the thing about the Farrelly Brothers movies that people don't appreciate is like they don't make things funny on purpose. Like, it's not like joke character does something stupid because he's stupid.
Yeah.
It's like the relationship between Roy and his dad, I think, is pretty genuine. Like, it's pretty like heartbreaking, especially when you find out what happens later. He's super proud. The makeup job they did on the dad was terrible, though. Like, they just pounded a bunch of makeup on him to make him look older and sprayed some silver hairspray.
Yep, that's it.
It's just like, this dude doesn't look old at all. Just looks like he's going trick-or-treating. And he's going off in his awesome. What year is this Oldsmobile Cutlass?
Okay. This is an issue I have with this movie, because if you look online, it's an Olds Cutlass convertible and it says 72 or 71, but it's not what this is. When he backs out of the station, it's a 70. And the Cutlass we see for the rest of the movie is a 71 or a 72. It's the taillights. It's a dead fucking giveaway. It's supposed to be the same car, but like,
gotcha. So pretty much, most people didn't realize that. It's the car people who were like, "That's not the same car he had in the beginning."
Yeah, because I looked at it, I was like, okay, like, I didn't remember all the taillights for him, so I knew it was somewhere between a 69 and a 72. And then I was watching later. You see the taillights. So I was like, wait a minute, those are not the same different taillights than earlier. No, this is not right at all. I didn't sign up for this.
Well, do you think maybe there's a possibility that because the car looks rough when you see it later, do you think maybe he got work done on it to the point where the headlights changed or the taillights changed?
I don't know if the way the taillights are, because on the 72, it's 70 is just two rectangular taillights up and down. On this one, it's almost like the same thing, but it's like they're flipped sideways.
Oh, okay.
It's like long ways. So I don't know if everything would have lined up appropriately. Gotcha. I don't know. I'm not as well versed in those older GMs, so I don't know. It is possible. I mean, you would need to change the bumper and the rear valance and then the the trunk deck. So possibly, I think it was just close enough, and most people aren't going to notice. Is probably what it was.
So yeah, he goes on tour and he wins his first match, the Odor Eaters Invitational. Beating Ernie McCracken, played by Bill Murray. I love he's trying to bowl. He's like setting up for that final shot, and you think it's a commentator once you come into that scene, but you just find out it's just Ernie behind him. It was Roy Munson, man-child, setting up for his first hit, trying to beat professional bowler Ernie McCracken.
Yep.
Who's won 4 straight Odor Eaters Invitationals. He's like, "Do you mind?" Oh, was I saying that out loud? And he just looks behind him at the crowd. Oh God, Ernie, dude. Listen. Bill Murray has so many iconic roles in his career. Of course, we've talked about him in the Ghostbusters movies, which, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that character. Especially
kind of a piece of shit, dude.
Especially in the first one. The second one, he improves. And of course, you have like Scrooged and Groundhog's Day and it's so many amazing roles. Ernie McCracken might be my favorite Bill Murray role. It's
I love him.
Good because he is despicable. He is a pile of shit, but he's hilarious on just how awful he is. So,
and then it's not like. The thing is, it's not like Ghostbusters where everybody's like, "I love Ghostbusters." Like, he's this great guy.
Yeah.
But he's shitty in that, but he's just a blatant piece of shit in this. There's no covering, just so obvious.
Peter Venkman's the best. He didn't drug that lady. Why did he have those drugs in his pocket?
No kidding.
Yeah, no, Ernie McCracken is the villain of the movie to a degree from the get-go. Like, you just know something bad's going to happen. So yeah, Roy beats him and Ernie leaves. He's a poor sport. He gets out of there. And immediately we're at a gas station where an attendant is telling Roy that somebody put sugar in his gas tank and his engine's blown. And he asks how much it's going to cost him. And it's like $2,000. And I was like, $2,000 for a blown engine? I mean, it is 1979, so
not
right.
79. Dude, so like that's like the meme. Like, I don't know. This is Mythbusters. They did this. Like, the worst thing it's gonna do is like bork your fuel system. At worst, like you just replace your fuel pump, blow your fuel lines out, get a new carburetor.
Yeah, that was always the thing. Like, it was a lot of movies where it was like, you know, you had to like rival gangs, you know, putting sugar in their rivals' gas tanks and stuff like that. So, so pretty much it's going to cost him $2,000, and that's all he has. That's all he's got. So he runs into Ernie, shows up, and he goes up, and you know, tells the guy to fill up his tank, and I love where he hits freaking Roy right in the groin with the door. Hey, watch the door. Hey, you think you can fill up those tires? And he's like, oh, Roy, what are you doing here? Then they go to the diner, and this is where, I mean, just continuing to show you how awful Ernie McCracken is. The waitress comes over with the food, and he's like, hey, when you come back, make sure you wash off that perfume. And how would have been like, fuck off. Go
dude, no
fuck
shit,
yourself,
right?
Dude.
God.
Dude, he literally tells Roy to eat the rest of his lunch outside.
Yeah.
And when you're done, come back in. We'll talk. And then he turns, and there's like women sitting in the booth behind him, and he's like, hey. And one woman's like waves at him, and he's like, not you. Hey. So I guess when he shot that scene, that was improvised by Bill Murray. Most of Bill Murray's lines, everything that he does in this movie is pretty much improvised. According to the Farrelly Brothers, he would read the script and he would just get an idea of what his character was going to be doing, and then he would just kind of go off of that. I guess after they shot that scene, when they cut, he actually went over to those ladies and apologized because he felt bad because it wasn't in the script for him to turn around and say hi to them. So he felt bad that he told the one woman, no, not you. So I thought that was pretty
it fits his character though.
Oh, absolutely.
Movie. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because to be honest, they did not look like extras. They looked like they were just eating at this diner, and they're just like, oh my God, is that Bill Murray? Hi. Not you. Oh no, my life is over. He doesn't like me. Oh yeah. So he pretty much, the whole thing is he's asking Roy if he wants to make extra money, you know, do a side gig, you know, because, you know, he needs money. So they go to this bowling alley, which I've never been to a bowling alley where you have to climb a set of stairs ever.
No. What was the damn it, I don't remember the joke. I can't think it was Simpsons. He's like, yeah, we live on top of a bowling alley and underneath another bowling alley. I was like, what? I don't remember what that's from. But yes, apparently I looked up in the bits, like in the bit. Apparently it was a real bowling alley. It was on like the third floor or something.
Yeah.
I wonder what else was in there.
And Zenith TV.
Hey, stop it.
Oh, I used to have I had so many Zenith TVs. So yeah, they go up there. Oh, at first Roy's like not sure if he wants to go through with this, and this is where the manipulation of Ernie comes in. He's like, all right, well, you know, if you got to do it, you got to call your mom and dad and tell them that you couldn't make it, and you got to come home with your tail between your legs. And he's like, fine, I'll do it. He's like, perfect, good. So they get up there and they have to pretend they're dictionary salesmen.
Yes, and
Roy has to pretend like he's like a hotshot salesman. He's got the biggest bonus, and he's actually got to like wave around a lot of money to these guys. And Ernie, throughout this entire sequence of them being at this bowling alley, is fucking comedy gold. So at first it's them talking to the guys at the bar. It's the dude, the older guy. Why? He looks like Biff Tannen.
Yep.
Like older Biff Tannen from Back to the Future Part 2. Like that's what this guy looks like. And then you have the other guy who's got the really bad fake teeth on the top. The one who's and that's what he sounded like. You guys want to play some games?
Dude,
he's got the stutter.
I will say this is one of my favorite lines. There's a lot, but this is one of my favorite lines in this movie. Is Bill Murray. It's when they're on the bars. Come on, man, you're on a gravy train with biscuit wheels. Fucking love it, dude. Gold.
He's like, why don't we have like 6 or 7 more beers and get out of here?
Yeah.
And this is also kind of ironic from what we see later, because the whole ploy is for them to pretend they're drunk. Well, Ernie's drunk, but Roy has got to pretend like he's drunk. So he throws the beer into the plant, which is kind of ironic for what he would become, later on in the movie. But yeah, he's going to play a game. Of course, you don't see the full match, but you see the fact that they're playing against, you think, is a priest or a pastor.
Yep.
And he beats Roy. And of course, Ernie's very upset about it. And that's when Roy steps in. He's like, "Oh, double or nothing. I'll hit that split," because it was like a 5-7-10 split. I can't remember exactly what the split was.
Yeah, because there was 3 pins. It was
the 2 on one side and 1 on the other. He's like, "Double or nothing, I hit that spare." And of course, Ernie just keeps going and going with it. He's like, "Oh, all right, Mr. Hotshot, you're just gonna do that? You're gonna go up there and hit that spare? No one can hit that spare. And that's what you're gonna." He just keeps on going. He literally picks up the ball, gives it to him, like shoves it at him. Oh, I love it where the guys are just like, "Bowl, boy."
Yep. He's like, "Fine, 750, 1,500. Yep. He puts it all out there.
And the guy's like, hey, everybody pitching money. I'm good for it. And Roy hits the spare. And the bad thing, and Roy fucked himself. Ernie is primarily the reason why the events happen at the end of this, but Roy fucks himself by saying who he actually is. Because I think at the beginning of the con, they go by fake names. And then Roy, because that's when the guy is like, "Bowl, boy." He's like, "It's not boy, it's Roy." And then he hits the spare and he's like, "Roy Munson." And I was like, oh no, he said his actual name. And so they get in the car. And to be honest, I don't know why, after you just fucked people over, that you would just sit in the parking lot.
Yeah, just leave.
Just get out of there. But Roy notices the sugar in the back seat. He's like, "What do you need sugar for? What do you need sugar for, Mr. McCracken?" He's like, for my morning coffee." Roy's an idiot, by the way. When it comes to bowling, he's really good, but his street smarts are non-existent.
Well, at the time, he's kind of like Ishmael later.
Yeah, that's actually a great comparison. I never actually picked up on that. The fact that they're the same. Even though, we'll talk about Ishmael more when we get to him. But they come out, the pastor and his goons. They come out, they smash up Ernie's window in his car, and this is where he's like, sometimes bowlers, they gotta face the music and stand up, for things they did wrong. And then Roy gets on. He's like, "And that bowler is you, Roy," and just drives off. And this is where we get a pretty gnarly scene. You don't see what happens, but I could only imagine how painful this would be. So they drag Roy in, and it's not like they don't torture him or anything. They literally bring him straight in, and they force him to stick his good bowling hand into the ball retriever. Yep. And we get a cut, like a fade from that to 17 years later, or into a wood chipper. I love that transition. It was literally from him getting his hand in there to transitioning into a wood chipper. And it's 17 years later. We're in Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of Dunder Mifflin and Roy Munson.
Yes.
I literally was like, "Oh my God, I never realized." But I also didn't watch The Office until like 3 years ago. So Roy's life has clearly changed for the worst in the 17 years since his accident. Not really an accident, but
no, mishap.
Yep. He still has the same car. I mean, not technically according to Dan, but we're supposed to believe he has the same car. And he has a really nasty landlord played by Lynn Shay. And for anyone who doesn't know who Lynn Shay is, she was the teacher in Nightmare on Elm Street. And she is the sister of New Line Cinema CEO or president, Robert Shay. And she was also, I think most people would probably know her from the Insidious movies. Yeah. This is where I was introduced to Lynn Shay, because I had seen this before I had seen Nightmare on Elm Street. for the first time. And I actually didn't even put 2 and 2 together because of how she looks in this movie. She is disgusting. She gave me nightmares as a child. Not even kidding. I had nightmares about this woman. So Lin Shaye was in Dumb and Dumber. I guess it was like a favor for her brother to have her in like a small role in Dumb and Dumber. And then she auditioned for this movie, but she went to the audition looking like her character. And so when she showed up, they thought she was a homeless woman. And so they were like trying to get her out. And then it was kind of like they realized it was her. I was like, God, that's commitment right there. She is, whoo, and it just gets worse.
Oh, much worse.
It was so much worse. So Roy leaves to go to a local bowling alley because he's trying to sell bowling alley stuff. I think he was like trying to sell like Lane oil and some other stuff. And the guy's just like, I don't need any of that. And I've already told you I don't need any of that. And during that conversation, he hears a beautiful sound of a strike. And he's like, what is that? Turns around and he sees a guy just, he's bowling. And he gives him some tips to better get more strikes. And it works out. And then he tries to like convince him to let him teach him, to let him kind of like mentor him. And he's not interested. He technically is not even supposed to be here.
No.
But yeah, he introduces himself as Ishmael Borg. And they have a quick little chat, and then Ishmael leaves. And then the guy who works at the alley tells him, don't even bother. He's part of the Amish community, so it's not even worth your time. And that is the opposite thing you want to say to Roy, because he just wants he knows this guy's got talent. He literally tells him he averages like 270, which is wild until you find out later why.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to be managed. He doesn't want a manager, and that's when we get the
I hope you're riding hell, you loser! You suck! You don't deserve a car!
You suck!
Yeah. I hope you're rotten hell, you loser. You suck.
Rotten hell, you loser. You
dude,
suck.
I love it because he because Ishmael's nothing but polite to him. I was like, what the fuck? He like escalates.
Sorry, sir. I'm just not interested. So this is one of the scenes I think that is part of the rated R version. Because you probably didn't see, he's at the convenience store and he's trying to get coffee, and there's no creamer to put in his coffee. And so he asks the guy at the register, oh, can I just there's no more. He's like, well, and that's it. He's like, well, can't you just take one of them out of the cooler? And he's like, well, are you going to buy it? And he's like, no, you don't have any more. So you just use that. It's this kind of doesn't matter conversation. Doesn't go anywhere.
No, it's not the regular version.
But he goes to it, but then it goes to the scene where he helps a lady cross the street with the baby, and he accidentally pours some coffee on the baby. Oh, don't worry, that'll wash out.
Yeah, right. Claw hand.
Yeah,
that was very
Gucci. She's like,
I'd have been like, don't touch my baby.
Yeah. Well, another added part is the fact that he steals the bottle with the milk to actually put the milk in his coffee from the
so bottle. That's the that's our full.
That's where it pays off. Yeah. So he gets around the corner and he sees his landlady getting mugged, and he walks up and he defends her. He throws the coffee in the dude's face, and he runs away. And of course, she's like, oh, thank you. You don't have to worry about your rent. And he's like, whew, off the hook there. I'm trying to see the guy, the mugger.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
He's a comedian, I think. Oh man, I gotta look this up real quick.
I had it pulled up.
Yeah,
Willie Garson.
Oh, okay, not who I was thinking of. He looked like I can't think of his name right now. But so he, he's good. The next scene is him literally with the mugger, because you find out that he paid him off to pretend to mug his landlady, so he didn't have to pay rent. Bucks. Yeah, and then of course, who walks in the door as this is all? They had this whole conversation too about he's like, hey, where's your newspaper? I got to take a shit. He's like,
yeah,
I don't have a newspaper. Well, I got to read something. And he gives him the shampoo bottle. He's like, new and improved. I've already read this one.
Yeah.
But she walks through the door and sees him and she gets pissed. And of course he has to pretend like the guy's like in his house for some reason.
How the hell did you get in here?
He's like, get out of here, you loser. And he like hits him again. He's like, that's going to be $100.
Yeah, because that was the actual hot coffee, because he says that coffee wasn't that hot.
And she's mad, of course. And he's like, I'll do anything you want to do to fix this. And we get possibly one of the nastiest scenes ever put on film. And it is, for one, I don't like seeing people throw up, and he throws up a lot, but it's her sitting in the bed with the cigarette in her mouth because they had sex. And she's like, I don't know what it is about sex. It makes me have to crap. You really let something loose in there, Roy. Oh God.
Oh,
it's
dude,
awful. And then she's like, you're a loser. You gotta stop. You gotta forget about this bowling stuff. And she throws the magazine.
Yep.
And it's the scene where like she's putting her stockings on and her legs like, oh God,
it's rough.
Dude, it makes my stomach churn.
We do not need to see your crotch. Thank you.
Oh.
Goodbye. Go away.
Yeah, it makes you really nauseous. And then, of course, we get the infamous. She leaves. But he picks up the magazine, and it's for a tournament in Reno. We don't know the full details on it, but he's like, gives him an idea. So he goes to the Amish community, pretending to be Amish. He's brother Hezekiah Munson.
Yep.
That great beard. And you get all all the antics that go on with this entire thing. My favorite, of course, is when he's helping out with chores and he comes with the listen, this, I forgot how big this bucket was. This bucket is huge and it's full. And he's like, oh, I just thought I'd get up. I got up early. I figured I'd milk your cow. And it just shows the dad. It's just like, we don't have a cow. And as he's in the middle of drinking. And I just love his reaction. He goes, I'm going to go brush my teeth. Just wanders off.
Took me a little bit to get her warmed up, but
I love all their faces. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yep.
Oh, so nasty. That's so much. Holy crap. Like how much
buckets full?
How much does a bowl produce? That's so much.
I don't think it's that much.
Golly.
Guess apparently if it feels good.
That is a bowl you use to reproduce with every cow in the country.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
With that amount.
You sell that off.
Oh yeah, you probably be the $500,000 they need. Just sell off this bucket. You'll probably get pretty close to that. God damn. So we get the cheese grater accident. Oh, right. He talks about he can't have kids because of the cheese grater accident. I was like, why did I write that?
Yeah. And like people just nod their heads like, yeah.
Yeah, you got grandma with the beard. I love when Ishmael kisses her. Yep. So it's like, pick it out. Oh man. Yeah, so he tries to talk Ishmael into the tournament. He's like, no, I can't do that. I'm not even supposed to be bowling. My grandpa took me bowling as a kid and it was our secret. And, like no one would understand. And he's like, if you're going to be here, you got to do chores. He's like, chores, it's nothing. And he also talks about the fact that the Amish do more, like they do more work. Like you work an 8-hour day. We do 12, it's just like they always do a little bit extra.
It's that much plus 50% more.
Yep. So yeah, we get the milking of the bull. We get the building of the barn, which is great. Especially, him like he nails the nail through his hand, and then he's like they're setting up this barn, and the dinner bell rings, and he immediately reacts to it and goes to the dinner, and the guy, and they're all just like, I don't know how you do it in Ohio, but here we don't just drop a 2,000-pound wall when we hear the dinner bell. He's like, what does the Bible say about forgiveness? I don't know, Brother Munson. Tell me what the Bible says about forgiveness. It says you should do it.
Yes. He just walks off. He's got food shit all in his beard too.
Oh, I just love it. He's like sitting in between two, like just a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Also, not in the theatrical cut or whatever, there's a shot of the bull chasing after Roy. He's like holding a bucket and the bull is like following him around.
I like it.
So they, Ishmael and Roy are walking through the barn talking about like, he's still trying to convince him to go bowling. And we see Buttercup. He's the biggest horse in the county. And Ishmael needs to go talk to his dad. So what does the dad tell Roy to do? I need you to take off his shoes. And I love that when they go outside to talk about the situation with the land, how they need $500,000 to save the land and all that, all you hear is the horse in the background. Just fucking going.
Chickens just everywhere.
You hear sawing noises. Like, just great. And he comes out with the horse. I mean, listen, the horse would be dead if this actually happened. He literally cut his feet off.
Yep.
But he comes out with all this, he's like, all right, I'm all take care. And they're just looking at him in shock. And he's like, what do I got? Do I got something in my beard? So because they need this money, they are like, yeah, go with, you're going to go with Roy and do what you got to do to get that money. And we also see, I think it's Rebecca is the Amish girl that Ishmael has like a thing for. Yeah. And there's like that.
Your destiny is round. And you just 3 holes in it. You put your fingers into
talk about Miss Rebecca like that.
That's awesome. I like it.
I love the quick little kiss on the cheek, and he's like, ooh.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. Randy Quaid was dope until he went crazy.
Yes. Also, he's 45 when this movie's made.
He's considerably older
than both the main characters who call him kid all the time.
Yep.
But it's great. I think, because I think Randy Quaid he was born in 1950, so he was like 45, 46 when this movie came out. And I think he was 11 years older than Woody Harrelson and 14 years older than Vanessa Angel, because he's the older brother of Dennis Quaid.
Yep.
So this is where Roy, like, pretty much they're like, don't let him, manipulate you and turn you, into what you're, what you're not. And what does Roy immediately do? But he turns him into a smoker. He turns him into a coffee drinker. I was just like, yes, can I get a coffee, a lot of sugar, or 2 sugars and lots of cream? Lots of cream.
Just instantly knows the answer. Like, I can't drink that. It's a stimulant. What do you think a cigarette is? Really? Okay, if that's the case.
And immediately after this, though, we see them walking out of the bowling alley because Ishmael got beat. And Roy is very mad, but he's also confused. He's like, you got beat by a house bowler, by a club bowler is what he says.
Yep.
And he's like, well, all you normies with your 10 frames. He's like, 10, what? He's like, yeah, remember, Amish do everything you do plus 50%. So we do 15 frames. He's like, what?
10 frames is for Quakers.
And then, of course, Roy's mad because he's going to bring him home, and Ishmael doesn't want to go home. And so he's like, take me out of the car. I'll walk to Reno. And I love Randy Quaid in this movie, by the way. This is like my favorite Randy Quaid performance. I mean, he's fantastic in the vacation movies. He's just so funny in this because he's an older guy playing like with like a child mentality. Also because he's Amish, so he's like experiencing things for the first time. It's and he does it he does it with ease. But I love his like reaction where he's like in tears. He's like, pull over, I want to get out. I'm walking to Reno. And then he hears the whole thing about Munson, which never gets explained. Like Munson is just
Munson.
Yeah. He's like, what did you say? He's like, yeah, Munson's like, up a creek without a paddle type thing. And he's just like, never heard this. But then we get the jump scare where he looks in this rearview mirror and he's
That haunts it for the rest of this fucking movie, too.
Oh my God. So yeah, we get our normal sports movie training montage, teaching him how to bowl. And the first thing is Roy is still an idiot, by the way. He's literally sitting on a ball retriever machine and gets hit in the balls. I'm like, yeah, you're an idiot.
Okay. And you can see it coming. It's the above ground ball return. It's not the one that goes under and poops it up. With
the one that your hand got torn up from. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's scared of those. He only bowls with like above ground ones.
Yeah, but why would you sit there, spread eagle, waiting for a ball to hit you in the balls? That's just stupid.
I don't know.
Maybe he likes that.
Maybe he might be into
He's
that.
into it. He's into that fucking ball mutilation. So I do love the one where his hand flies off after the high five and it like lands on the lady's boob. And he just grabs the boob. He grabs it off the lady's boob and just takes his boyfriend's hand. What's it on?
That's good. Good humor.
And then, also Ishmael literally reading the newspaper, shitting in a urinal.
English bulldog, 500, one testicle, $500. Oh, that kind of money, you think you get 2 testicles. Listen, Ish, I'm not here to teach you everything about everything in the world. I'm here to teach you about bowling. Well, I think I can figure some things out myself.
That's the quote, everybody. If you haven't heard that one before,
I have. Now, so go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay, so that is one that so occasionally I'll use I put the brain in the robot. You know what I mean? Yes. Like when I'm over explaining things, I'm confusing myself, but like it's whatever. You can understand what I'm saying. But anyway, so for my cousin, like he'll ask me a question and like if I'll just sit there and he'll just go and go and go. And I'm like, listen, I'm not here to teach you everything. And that just comes out, dude. That's what I'm talking about. I use that all the time with stuff because he gets it. Now you get it too because you've seen it. So
yes. And he's literally like combing like the one piece of hair he has on the side of his head. Listen, Ish, I'm not here to teach you about everything. Here to teach you about both.
So good. I love that.
But I love the pan out of him shitting on the urinal. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So they're driving and Roy mentioned something about betting and Ish can't bet. It's against his religion. He said, you don't have to. I will bet for you. And he's like, oh, okay. That's cool.
Quiet, you stupid banana head. I'm going to do it
for you. So they try to pull off the dictionary salesman, bit, but it doesn't even remotely work. I love how the guy calls him out. Hey, so how does this con usually go? Like, how does it keep going? I haven't heard it in a while. But I love what he's like, son of a bitch. He's like, that's Steve. Or what does he say? He says a name. Does he say like Jesus Christ or something like that?
No. What was it? Damn it. Because I like that part. Oh no, that's later. I don't remember what he says, but there's this exact same scene. happens
well, the guy's like, he's like, you want to play games for money, go to this address and all that. And so yeah, they go there and you get this fucking dude, the guy who barks at them. I'm like, God damn it.
He's so fucking weird.
He's like, I got you. Park your shitbox over there. Fuck. God, this sucks. So yeah, they meet the host. What the hell was his name? Stan. I think Stan was his
Stanley.
name. Stanley. Yeah. And we meet his girl, Claudia. This is Vanessa Angel. And God damn. She made me think things when I was way too young. She definitely, her and Angelina Jolie as Laura Croft was like a sexual awakening for young boy Parker, especially in this scene. So they decide they're going to do $1,000 a game. And earlier we actually see that Roy doesn't have that much money. He literally has $100 bill and he wraps it around some Monopoly money. So they're going to do $1,000 a game. And we pretty much get to the end of the game. Stan's not playing so well. And so Ish needs to get 3 strikes and he wins the game. And he gets 2 strikes. And then we get the whole thing where Claudia gets up. She goes to the fridge to get a beer and she shuts it. And you got like the nipple, you can see her nipples and stuff. And it's like supposed to distract him. But instead it's like, hey, do you want a drink? Yeah, I'd like a jug. I mean, a mug. I mean, yeah, in a bottle.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, don't worry about that. I'll get it. And it happens to him.
Everybody's like, what?
It's always Roy's reaction where he's just like, what the hell? And he's like, hey, you need to bowl. And he's like, I am feeling a little nippy.
Yep.
So he goes up, he hits that final strike, they win. Stan's like, hey, why don't we do another game? And he's like, nah, no, we're good. And then he calls him out, he punches him, he takes the money, he's like, what, you got $100 wrapped in Monopoly money? What do I look like, an idiot? Like, he pretty much threatens Ish. He's like, I want you to make his left hand look like his right hand. But then the lights turn off, and then the lights turn on, and the dude's like choking out a bowling ball.
Yeah, I'll get you. You take that. You take this, you bald fuck. I'll scratch your eyes out or whatever. And he's like, it's a ball.
Ah, son of a bitch. And they leave. Actually, Claudia goes with them. She takes the keys. They get in the car and they just go. And they're going crazy. She's like swerving in and out of traffic. My favorite though is when they finally get on like a main road. And she's like, I don't know why I did this. This is like, I don't even have a plan of what to do. And he's like, well, you know, at least the guy back here. And he looks at Ish, and Ish is just like,
yeah, it stays like,
it's like, pull over. Gotta help him. I forgot to mention the fact that she makes a comment after Stan loses the game, and the whole thing is started because he takes her to the other room, and you hear him smack her around.
Yeah. And
then he comes in and mocks her. It's like, yeah, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but you don't see nothing. It's all her.
It's all behind the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we then back with the Amish at the Amish community, and we go through the barn, and the dad and the brother are talking because he's going to send the brother to go get Ish. And you see Buttercup, just this looks like a little pony now.
Tiny.
This thing would be dead, by the way, as I said.
Oh, before. Yeah. Changes to stumps.
Yeah. So they go to a restaurant and they're eating. You notice that Woody Harrelson never eats anything meat.
He's a vegetarian.
Yeah. Actually, I think he's vegan.
Is he?
Could be vegetarian. He could have been vegetarian at the time. I think I read something that he's a vegan now, but I don't know. But I think at the time he was at least vegetarian because he's eating a salad where like the rest of them are eating like a burger and stuff.
Yeah.
I always thought that was odd because I never knew that fact. I'm like, who the fuck just like at a random like hole in the wall like joint, you're just gonna order a salad? All right.
I'll do that. So
he's asked to dance, and he's like, I don't know how to dance. So she's like, I'll teach you. So they go and they dance, and who shows up but a guy named Skidmark?
Yep.
Played by baseball legend Roger Clemens.
Got to pick somebody.
Oh yes, I just love the whole thing. It was like Roy and Claudia are arguing because they don't like each other. But they're also arguing the fact of like what his purposes with Ish and what she plans on doing, you know, that they can be partners, but it's going to be a great relationship because they don't like each other. But then you hear in the background of like, what are you trying to pick up my girl? And he's like, she was just showing me how to dance. I don't know how to dance. Would you like to dance? And he's like, what, you want me to dance with you?
Yep.
And then Roy goes up there, you think he's going to help him out, and he just fucking cold cocks Ish in the mouth.
Take that, you freaky piece of shit. You don't know what another guy's lawn.
I guess in the show True Detective, the first season, Woody Harrelson's in the show. And there's actually, I guess, an episode where there's a guy who mows his lawn, and he goes out and he yells at the guy for mowing his lawn.
Yep. That's brilliant.
Just because of this movie. I don't know. That'd be pretty funny if it was.
But yeah, Woody Harrelson is vegan.
Okay.
Misspoke.
Yeah, close enough. I would rather be a vegetarian, by the way, than vegan. No thanks.
Fair.
I forgot to mention the line where she's she's asking him about his hook. And he's like, well, what, you can't spank your monkey. And Ish just goes, you have a monkey? Yeah. But yeah, so they decide they're gonna work together. The whole thing though is when they're talking about like, you didn't have to do that to help him out. He's like, well, I didn't want to look like I was on his side. They would have beat me too. He's like, well, you didn't have to rub Tabasco in his eyes.
It's like, well, you didn't have to have beers with him afterwards. I wanted to think we were in cahoots. That's fucking great. Tabasco. It's so good, dude.
So yeah, they're gonna be a team. So we then get a bowling hustle montage, which is she's gonna dress with barely anything on and distract the other bowlers for them to win a bunch of money. I love the one though where the one guy who throws his ball into the other lane. I've seen that before at bowling alleys without half naked ladies dancing around.
Yeah.
But the one where it's the older farmer who's not distracted by her, but Ishmael whispers into Roy's ear, and then all you see is a freaking sheep in the next one, and he just like gutters it, and he's just like, he looks at the sheep with a smile, and he's like, but she's also so sad that she couldn't get the guy, like distract the guy with what she was looking like.
Yeah,
she's like pouty face.
Doesn't always work, Chief.
Yeah, it's okay. You'll be all right. You're still hot.
Next time.
Yeah. This is another added scene showing Ishmael bungee jumping. It's like like not a full on like off a bridge, but like one of those things where they bring you up like 100 feet and you jump off and then you can kind of slowly land. But it's a whole thing where he jumps off and Roy's like scared because he doesn't want him to get hurt. And when he's trying to take off the harness, it hooks onto Roy and it sends Roy up. It kind of like throws it off because it's just doesn't feel like that type of movie where it's like that silly slapstick comedy. So it just felt weird. I love when Ish is like watching Roy floss, and I love the little joke throughout the movie where he's like, Mr. Munson, he's like, hey, Mr. Munson, what are you doing? I'm flossing. Where am I getting Munson from? And it just happens.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Mr. Munson, what are you doing? Flossing. Where did I get Munson from? Oh, I'm Roy Munson. What I'm doing is flossing. So the delivery, it's so good.
He does it another time too. There's like one. There's one later where it's like the same thing. He's like, where do I keep getting Munson from? So for something like this was always a weird one for me, a weird scene for me because it never like set up the fact that they wanted to ditch her at all. I wish there was some like predetermined scene that would like be like, oh, hey, you know, Claudia, like kind of like lying to Ish about like what Claudia's doing for the reason behind them ditching her. But this just randomly, he wakes Ish up and he, what's the matter?
His fake hand. It's so good.
It's the best. I love it. Oh, it's the whole thing, the whole joke to the other joke where when he first meets Ish and he's like, how do you know so much about bowling? Well, why don't you look at this? Wow. That's cool. What is that? Rubber? Oh no, what? He's like, what is that? He's like, it's 14 karat or 24 karat gold. He's like, oh, kind of looks like rubber. Not the hand, the ring. And then we have the same thing, but it's in reverse later.
Yep. We have it one more time where it's rubber as well. It's the old ladies were at the bowling alley.
Oh yeah. Which is, I think one of. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, the best is where they go out there and he's just like, what's going on? He's like, you know, there's a shit happening. He's like, there's shit. Where is it? There's shit in the clouds. And he's like,
a giant cloud of shit.
Cloud of shit. And he's like, he just yells at the couple that's in the next car. He's like, hey, you guys get out of here. There's a cloud of shit coming. Run for your lives. But Claudia and Roy talk, and then it turns into a fight, and it's hilarious. The first dude, she goes for the balls first go. I'm like, best though is the boob punches. Boom, boom,
boob punches
boom,
are funny. I like the kick though. It's like, oh, you must have a really wide foot. You got both of
them. Oh god, it's great. But then of course it's like just in that 20-second fight, Ish is gone. He wrote a note and he's already out of there.
Yeah.
It's like mom and dad are fighting. I'm leaving.
Yep.
So they have to go find Ish. And we get the whole thing where Ish is walking down the road and you have the guys dressed up as Native Americans. They throw the garbage at him and he's got the one tear, which is like a callback to that ad from like the 80s.
The 70s.
Or 70s.
Old as fuck, dude. I was like,
fun fact about that commercial: the guy who played the Native American in the commercial wasn't a Native American.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And the dudes in the back of the truck dressed like Native Americans that threw the trash at Ish.
No.
Not Native Americans, more
White
likely either.
people.
Yep.
At least from the quick glance as they drive by, I didn't really pause it to
It's a joke that was definitely for an older audience at the time. But like,
I got
now
it.
it's the point that nobody is.
I didn't get it as a kid, but I got it watching it as an adult. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. I didn't watch it live. Like, I don't think they showed that commercial even when I was growing up. It was already out of. They were like,
same for me.
I do that.
I heard about it from other forms of media.
Yeah, it was like YouTube. I YouTubed it one time.
Mm.
So they're driving, and they realize they are back in Roy's hometown of Ocelot, Iowa. And they go to his dad's old shop. His dad, I guess, has been dead for like 10 years or something like that. And Roy didn't even go to the funeral. I'm like, and it kind of like when you hear Roy talk about his dad and like the fact of like everybody was so proud of him, but then just disappointed based on what happened. It kind of hits you because like Roy's dad wasn't like a piece of shit. Like he was a supportive dad. And it just like, it sucked that this one instance of his life kind of fucked everything up to the point where he didn't even see his dad, didn't go to his funeral because he just felt so ashamed. I'm like, damn, it's supposed to be a comedy, man. I don't want to be crying. But it also shows like Roy is really not a terrible person. He's just living his life based on the circumstances that he was unfortunately given.
Yeah, and he talks about it a little bit more later when like we get more character development. Like it's just he was dealt a shitty hand for like most of, I mean, like particularly later in life, but shitty hand, and he just conveys that, projects that onto other people. It just assumes everybody's shit too.
So in the rated R version, Ish shows up to the strip club. You actually see him go to the strip club, and he goes in there and he's getting a lap dance, and the owners of the strip club come up to him and they're like, all right, you're done. And he's like, oh wow, an 8-hour shift already? Man, I feel like I should be paying you guys. Thinking that was his job because he was going there for a job, and he's like, "Oh, I got something else for you," which then would lead to what we see. Okay. Yeah, but he's got to pay off because it was because he wasn't paying for the lap dance, so he had to pay off his debt.
Oh.
But my favorite, dude, look when the montage of them looking for Ish, and they go to the reptile place, the snake place, and the dude's got the cobra, and the cobra bites him in the forehead, and he's like. You want to play me? And he just fucking bites the snake. It's like, he's like, okay, see ya. Gotta go.
So fucking random.
It's the best. I love the strip club's name is Stiffies.
Yes. Yeah, baby.
And they go in there, and Ish is a dancer. He's all in the getup, dancing around, and people are giving him money too. So he was gonna be making that money back quick. But instead, they get him out of there. And my favorite, though, is when he's in the back of the car, all in the getup, and he's having a serious conversation with them. And I'm just trying to not. I'm like, I don't know how you could take this serious right now. I don't know how Randy Quaid made it through the entire scene without bursting out, or any of them. Just constantly look back and see Randy Quaid as a woman. That's a choice. And then we get a road trip montage because they're all back together. They're a team now, and so we get the road trip montage. We get the shaving cream trick that Roy does to Ish first. And then during this montage, definitely this scene was not in the theatrical cut, which is Roy fucking a blow-up doll until he's finished. It only lasts like 5 seconds. It's like right at the end. But it's literally him looking like he's having sex, and I think you're supposed to think it's Claudia, but then he rolls off and it's just a blow-up doll. I was like, I see why this wasn't in this is stupid.
Whatever.
Oh, then you get Ish flossing, and he's got all the giant chunks of food because he's never done it. I was like, I don't think that's how that works, but okay.
No.
I don't think it stays like that.
Oh, man. Oh, and then, of course, you get the best, though, is where they're in the car, and she pops the champagne, and she drinks it. She's going to give it to Ish, and Ish is like, and he fucking whips out that massive bong. Oh my god. Yep, they finally get to Reno, and everybody's happy. My favorite, though, is when they pass the sign that says Jefferson's on ice. Jefferson's on ice! I love the Jeffersons. Oh.
What the fuck? Why the hell would there be Jeffersons on ice?
Because it's Reno. Because Reno is like,
fair.
It's not nearly as good as Vegas. Vegas gets the good shows. Reno gets like the leftovers.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That makes sense.
Listen, there's a whole show about how great the police force is in Reno. Called Reno 911.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, it's great. It's great.
Reno 911 is funny. Thomas Lennon is fantastic in that show. The majority of the people in that show are great. One of them was a weird side note, but one of the cops in Reno 911, I think it's the Hispanic guy. He's a voice actor. He did a lot of voices for like Cow and Chicken and
really
like like the DC cartoons from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
No way.
Yeah, I think he's the voice of Cow. No, not Cow. Maybe the voice of Chicken.
They're all done by the same guy. One guy does Cow, Chicken, and the red guy.
Okay, so that's not who I'm thinking of. But the guy from Reno 911 is a voice actor. His name is Carlos I can't think of his last name.
Oh.
Yeah, we found him. I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try and pronounce it.
Yeah, it's a weird side note.
Oh, he does Fairly Odd Parents too.
Oh yeah, he's
Mr. Crocker.
Yeah, he's Mr. Crocker. Yeah.
No way.
Mrs. Crocker.
So why you guys are digging through that? I'm gonna keep going. Ish gets a tattoo, and it's this little like clover. I think it's hilarious, and he's like, "Oh, you know, it's not too," because he freaks out. He's like, "Well, I committed a sin. I can't go home." And then he goes and checks it. He's like, "Oh, it's not too bad." And then he turns around because Roy reacts. And it's just this massive, big-titted lady on the back.
Yeah. Yep. It's so good, dude.
Oh man! So they wander through the casino, and we run into Chris Elliott's character. I don't even know if this guy had a name, but he's playing craps, and he does the thing the thing where it's like, "Oh, blow my dice for luck, there, baby," talking to Claudia, but Ish grabs the dice like, "Oh, why not?" And he rolls and he wins. He bet like $800,000. I was like, damn. So he wins some money, and then we don't see him again for a bit. We see that Ernie McCracken is in Reno for the tournament, and his interviews are something. I love. It's like, can you tell us about what's going on with the paternity case? And he's like, well, that woman is a liar, and I remember personally pulling out too quick for anything to happen. And he sees Roy, and they have this whole thing. Roy, of course, not overly excited to see Ernie, especially since he is the reason why he has a hook for hand. And they have the conversation. You find out that Ernie knows Claudia, that they have a thing. And Ernie's trying to win her back. Baby, we could try it again. We can make it work this time. And what she said, I'd rather clean the floor of a peep show. I was like, nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. And then, he says, Ernie keeps saying shit to the point that Ish tries to punch him, and he punches the wall.
Yep.
And then my favorite is Ernie running away from the situation. And he's like, he runs for a second, turns around, then he like limps away. Like his leg is like sticking out like,
yep.
What? Why was he doing that?
What happened?
So Claudia goes back to her hotel room, and who would be there but Stan? Stan is just creeping in the back of the room, and she has to play off like she wants to be back with him to avoid, I'm guessing, to not get the shit beat out of her. So Chris Elliott sees the two guys at the bar because they realize that Claudia left. And so they think like she left with the money that they had won from all those from their cross country trip. And Chris Elliott just comes up randomly and goes, "Hey, I have a proposition for you. I will pay you $1 million if you sleep with your friend." And it's just like, do you want me to do something about him, Mr. Munson? And Roy is thinking about the scenario. He literally throwing the money up in the air, and then it shows Ish in bed with a freaking ice pack on his ass.
and crying.
Yeah, and is he got like mouthwash or something? He's
something like that, or yeah. Listerine,
yeah. But you find out it was all a daydream, and that's the funny thing is like this is it. This is all you see of Chris Elliott. Yep. It was all part of a dream, and that's see you later. Don't see him again. So Ish, they got to convince themselves. Well, we're here. We might as well play in the tournament. He's like, well, I can't. I broke my hand. He's like, well, you can't bowl. He's like, no, I can't, but you can. And of course, it's like him trying to talk him into bowling. And then we get the Unified Fund commercial with Ernie. Oh my God, dude.
Fucking terrible. It's so good.
Oh, it's literally the reason that this guy does this is so he could sleep with all the moms.
Yep, that's it. That's all
he does for her. Like the worst one is when he's like, all right there, Timmy. I can't remember the kid's name. All right there, Timmy. I want you to go long. And he like snaps the chick's underwear or something.
Yep.
Oh God.
And that's right, Timmy. Go a little deeper.
I just want to be the guy who's filming this commercial. Like,
who allowed this?
Does anyone see this right now? So, like, I didn't sign up to shoot a softcore porn. Like, what the hell's happening here? There's children around. It's still hilarious, though. Just how ridiculous it is. So, Roy's going to bowl. He goes up to the table to sign up for the tournament. And these two lovely old ladies are there. And they're like, oh, well, there's a problem here. You got past dues you haven't paid since 1979. And he's like, all right, well, how much is it going to be? And you expect it to be like a shit ton. It's only like $38.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
But he can't cover it because he doesn't have any money. So he offers up the ring, which we get the same joke again, where it's like, oh, yeah. It's like, no, the ring. Like, oh, yeah, we could do that. One of them is the director's mom. Can't remember which one. So he pays his dues. And he gets that damn landlord vision again when he's about to bowl for the first time. He sets up. He turns around because Ish is holding up the sign. But then the freaking landlord's face shows up going,
yep.
And he gets a handy assistant from his hand. Because the first ball that he throws, his hand pops off. But he gets a strike. That's cool. I just love it. He turns to the guy. He's like, hey, you got a Phillips head screwdriver? And then the hand pops up with the ball. And he's like, never mind.
Yep.
So we get the tournament montage where like we just keep seeing it's between usually they throw like the random bowlers in there, which I guess a good amount of the bowlers in this tournament were actually professional bowlers that they used to fill in the tournament. But we mostly are focusing on Roy and Ernie. And Ernie's ball is amazing. I love that ball. The rose encased in there. I've seen other people do stuff like that where they like I've seen ones where like somebody literally had a Pokemon card, like their favorite Pokemon card, like encased in a bowling ball. Hey, whatever. For one, why would you put your favorite Pokemon card in the bowling ball? That seems stupid.
It ain't coming out.
No.
Should break it.
But yeah. So this is. I'm about to talk about the scene that made no fucking sense. So we get the tournament montage, and then it randomly cuts to three guys in like priest uniforms, like with the collar, with a hose, and a bunch of dudes lined up against the wall. It's literally Ish and Roy next to each other, and then a bunch of other dudes bare ass getting hosed down. And I went, what is this? I don't know. I don't understand what it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know if this was supposed to be some funny joke. Like, these are all the bowlers, but it just doesn't make any sense.
That literally does it. You were right. You flummoxed me. I was like, okay.
No wonder it wasn't in the final film, but okay.
Shocking.
You get Ernie's got to fuck with Roy. He messes with the like teleprompter thing or the thing you can like write messages on. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, Roy. I made a mistake. Let's get married, Claudia. And it's like, in your dreams, Roy. Because it's fucking Ernie back there being a fucking douchebag. My favorite, though, Roy cannot interview. Because the guy is literally sitting there like, oh, Mr. Munson, it's been a long time since you bowled. How you feeling out there? What have you been up to? And he's just like, Yeah. I've been drinking a lot. It's like,
yeah.
Oh,
he tries to explain the story and he keeps like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
He's just like, I've just been drinking.
Yeah. He's like, are you still drinking? He's like, no. I, at least not right now.
Why are you buying?
Yeah. Oh, then it cuts to ESPN and my favorite guy from ESPN shows up. Chris motherfucking Berman. I love Chris Berman so much. The Raiders. He's going all the way. God damn. I hate ESPN, by the way. I think ESPN is the biggest pile of shit fucking sports thing right now. I used to watch ESPN all the time, but Chris Berman and his breakdowns of the weekend's games were the highlight of my childhood, just because his commentary was the best. And I don't know why he wasn't a normal commentator, because I think his games would have been fucking amazing. He would do it once in a while, but God, Chris Berman's the best. So yeah, it's a championship match between Roy and Ernie. And we get a really interesting rendition of the national anthem that doesn't sound like the national anthem other than the lyrics. But all right. Oh, I forgot to mention that the band that was at that restaurant earlier in the movie, they were the same band that was in There's Something About Mary. Yeah, I don't know.
Reuse your material, I guess.
To be honest,
come on, guys, come back.
To be honest, they're kind of terrible.
Yes,
I was not a fan. So Roy gets the nickname Rubber Man because of his hand, of course. And again, Ernie's ball is super dope.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. You got something to say? Say it.
No, all I can think of is that song.
Which one?
The Rubber Man.
The Rubber Band Man?
The Rubber Band Man.
Yep.
That's all I can think of when.
Yep, that's right there. I'm surprised they didn't play that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That song was like from the 70s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
no, we got that Superman song. We got that Superman song twice.
Yeah, worth 10 out of 10.
Then there was another song they played. I can't remember exactly. Well, they played Disco Inferno a couple times.
They played Like a Virgin.
They did. Where did they play that?
Scene.
During the war
scene? For $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the flashback there, yeah. Or whatever he's thinking about.
Oh, God. Daydream. Yeah. The craziest thing is when they're like introducing the two guys, and Ernie, I think the commentators are like talking about each bowler, and they're talking about Roy. It's like, he was one of the best bowlers around back in 1979. And then you have and then you're talking about Ernie like he is the greatest dude ever. Like, dude, what a role model for children. I went, huh?
Like, nobody sees through this dude. It's so fucking obvious.
My favorite, though, is as he's bowling, his hair gets crazier and crazier.
Yes.
The funny thing is this all plays into a line he says in the beginning of the movie before Roy's accident.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, because when he said, I will hit that spare, he's like, yeah, you'll hit that spare when I start losing my hair, which plays into this because he has that massive bald spot on the top of his head.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's kind of like karma for him, I guess. And we get like some crazy strikes, and you get of course they can't just constantly be hitting strikes. So I love that there's missed spares and all that. And the Bill Murray's facial expressions through this entire match is just absolute gold. Like, fantastic. Like Roy, like he's doing his thing. Also, Woody Harrelson was a terrible bowler. They said throughout this entire filming, he maybe have gotten 2 strikes.
Oh,
but
more than I can get.
When we get to the final set there, before the end of the actual match, Ish is terrified because he's actually there before he hits the 7-10 split, because it's the hardest split to hit, and everybody's like, well, I guess that's going to be it for Roy. There's definitely no way he's going to be hitting that. And of course he hits it, and he's got to get another strike, and Ish is terrified. So he turns around and motorboats a girl. And then his brother walks up to get him. He's like, but I can't, the match is still going. It's not over yet. And he's just like, we got to go home now. He's like, okay.
Yep. He says 2 times. That's it. And he bends.
Yep. Roy hits that strike though, which means that Ern has to hit all 3 strikes in the final frame. And we get the first 2 are like simple enough. Like you see them all in real time. And then the third one, they do it like, dramatic, slow motion, all that. But my favorite is when they zoom in on his face and he's all sweaty and his hair is crazy. He just goes, please. Bill Murray hit all 3 of these strikes for real.
Yep, I heard that. That's fucking wild.
Yep. That's crazy.
And like the crowd reaction, his reaction's all genuine.
Yeah. No one expected it. Like him falling down and like spinning around after he hits that final strike. It's crazy. Yep. My favorite though is so he wins the tournament by one pin, which is like unheard of. But my favorite thing is when he's talking to the reporters, like everybody's swarmed around him, and he's talking to the reporters, and the line is, "Finally, Big Earn is above the law."
Yeah, I could buy my way out of anything.
I'm rich.
It's so great, dude. He's such a piece of shit, dude.
Oh man. So, Roy lost, which is, like I said in the beginning, it's not your typical sports movie. The hero of the movie didn't win. The guy the underdog didn't win. It was the bad guy. So you get the whole thing where it takes him a while to kind of process the fact that he lost. And I love the guy who just sweeps up his hand. Well, I love how he shakes Ernie's hand and he rips off the rubber hand. He's like, ah! And just throws it into the stands. And the commentator's like, well, somebody got a souvenir tonight.
Yes. Hey, at least Roy was cool about it. He tried to be a sportsman about it.
Yeah, but it's also the opposite of what he did in the beginning, because when he lost to Roy in the beginning of the movie, he just runs off. He takes his ball and just gets out of there.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's like that's it. That's all you get of Ernie McCracken. Like the bad guy doesn't really fall, even though you kind of get an indication that something bad's probably eventually going to happen to him. Just based on dialogue, though.
Oh yeah.
And Roy gets his hand back, and then he goes outside and he gets attacked by Stan and his goon there, the barking guy. And because they're looking for Claudia, because Claudia up and left him, took the money. I love how they all just hit each other in the fucking balls.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What did Ernie do to you? What did Big Earn do to you?
Yep. That's what he says. He literally is like, she called Ernie McCracken 14 times. He's like, well, that seems like the person you should be going after instead of me. And so, yeah. So that's kind of your indication, like they're going to go find Ernie and something bad might happen to him.
But this is the payoff to the joke.
Yep.
Barry, you gave me this. Oh, that's nice. The ring? Is that real gold? He's like,
oh,
no,
that's right.
Hand.
Yeah, the hand.
Opposite.
But it's the whole thing where he's talking about how, you should look at yourself to blame than somebody else. So like he would blame Ernie McCracken for his situation, but he really should be blaming himself. And to be honest, I said it's not all Ernie's fault. Like the fact that Roy mentions his name in that after that split kind of fucked him.
But yeah, at the beginning, before he even goes up, we talked about it. He's like, something doesn't feel right. He could have not gone. He'd be like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at least he understands that he shouldn't be blaming other people for his issues all the time.
He's learning from his mistakes. Yeah. Finally.
So Claudia finds Roy back at his house like a week later, and she comes in and she's got a bag with like $84,000. He's like, how the hell did you get that? We only had half that. She's like, well, Stan bet against you, so he won double the money. But you also find out that Roy has a $500,000 check from Trojan Condoms because he's the rubber man.
Yep. He was dumping us alcohol too. You should point that out.
That's right. Yeah, he was
sobering up.
Yeah.
He had a lot of alcohol.
He sure did. He did. I mean, that's literally all he drank. You got to think. Like literally when you first meet him after the opening, he literally takes a swig of Jack like right out of bed and like or Jim Beam or whatever it was. Ugh. But yeah,
I thought it was Jack Daniels.
Probably. It's one of those.
Yeah. So yeah, he has the check from Trojan Condoms. He's just got to do a couple commercials, talk at a college, do some ad spots.
Yep.
and the only person I have to split this one is with me. So
well, no, he's like, this check's only getting split one way.
Yeah, because the other one, because she mentions the fact that like we're gonna split the 84,000 3 ways. So they go to back to the Amish community, and because the fact that Ish and his brother have to ride in horse and buggy, it takes that long to get home from Reno all the way back to Pennsylvania. But yeah, they come in
accurate.
It is true. But they get there, they get back, and Roy and Claudia are there, and it's funny, okay? It's a comedy. I love the fact that it's Brother Munson and the whore.
Yeah.
She just nudges him. But we'll get the best line later, where you find out Roy gave them the check for the $500,000 to save the land. And you get the whole thing. He's like, you guys, I gotta watch you guys. This is the way he reacts earlier in the movie when he's like, you passed the test.
Yep. And how Roy, Ish's dad tells him that Roy told him everything, but they twisted it to be that it was them and not Ish, and that Ish helped him, which he did, even though he did stuff he wasn't supposed to do, but they didn't tell him that part of it. So to make Ish out to be the hero.
So they find that big titty lady on his back.
Oh yeah. His wife, his lady's gonna fight. She's gonna belt sand that off. It'll come off.
So yeah, the movie ends with find out that Claudia got Roy's watch working, his dad's watch, which you see him throw earlier in the movie because it doesn't work. And she pretty much, I just had to wind it up. There's a winder.
Yeah, right.
And they make out. It's a weird couple, but whatever. It's for the sake of the movie. They make out and they drive away, and you get the group that's just like, bye, Brother Munson. Bye, whore.
And then Blues Traveler.
Yeah. I love this song. I love Blues Travelers.
Good stuff. They sing well.
John Popper. Good stuff.
Yes.
He not a big band no more.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, taking care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I like the song though. I like the fact that it shows them singing, like they're all dressed up in the Amish garb, and you have everybody just kind of standing there at first, and then Ish is like awkwardly dancing to the point where everyone starts awkwardly dancing. It's a good time.
Charming.
Yeah. And that's it. That is 1996's Kingpin.
What's up, VHS heads? I'm Matt. Join me and my two broskies, Chris and Dave, on our movie comparison podcast, The VHS Abyss, putting two movies from the golden age of cinema against each other. Whether it's a teenage soldier head-to-head, like Red Dawn versus Toy Soldiers, or simply picking two from a back catalogue of icons of the VHS era, like Roddy Piper or Jamie Lee Curtis. Whatever link we can find between two films, we've got you covered. With facts, gaffes, and plenty of laughs along the way, join us on all podcast platforms to discover who will be crowned champion of the episode. We are the VHS Abyss. Whether it's a hit or a miss, we love to reminisce.
Angela, what did you think of this movie?
I loved it. I did take your advice, and I did watch the end. I maybe missed like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. You were like right at the end.
Yeah,
sorry.
But yes, I love the scene where he takes his hand and he starts counting, and he like bends all his fingers down.
And lets him go.
The sound every time, because like when Ish is looking at the ring for the first time, and he grabs all of his fingers and they just crumple up like.
I just want to know how he bowled with his hand.
I thought the same thing. Like your fingers are hollow, like they're squishy. Like there's no way you would have went back and that ball would have went like. Oh.
But yes, I thoroughly enjoyed this and would definitely watch it again.
I love this movie. I don't need to say much about it. Like I quote the shit out of it. It's fucking great. However, going back and watching it again after a while, it's not as much of a comedy as I remember, because like, how you reflect on things now, but it's still hilarious. The comedy's a little more spaced out, and it's actually like a pretty good story. Like it's they're trying to build Ish up to be the, the next thing, but then it's Ish like, no, dude, you need to bowl. You're the person that needs to stand up and do it. And even if he didn't win, you got to think he was retired for not bowling for decades, almost 2 decades, 2 decades. And he came back and almost won. And he got a sweet deal, and he straightened his life out. And he's still got that cutlass, which he should fix it up. He should have 455 holes in it.
My question is, before I get into my thoughts, do you think this could have had a sequel? Like, do you think it would have worked?
They would have tried. I don't want to stop them from doing it, but I'm assuming because of the initial financials of the film, that's why I didn't get one. And it just was like, it's a cult classic since it took popularity after the fact, they're just like, whatever.
Well, they didn't do a lot of, I think the only sequel that the Farrelly Brothers did for their own movies was Dumb and Dumber 2. So
that's fair. I didn't realize
and that was like what, 30 years? Like, no, it was like 20 something years after the original. So yeah, I mean, I think it would have been interesting to like, I think you could have done it now. Like Woody Harrelson's not that old. Like you could, I think it would have been cool to maybe have him come back and kind of do kind of a similar, you could probably just done the same movie just with a different type of character that he's mentoring, but not have him be like, you know, the underdog thing where he has to bowl and stuff like that. I think you can just make it, I don't know. I'm glad we didn't, but I think they could have made something work.
Oh, easy.
It could be a Karate Kid, but with bowling.
Exactly.
We're already getting a new Karate. So Jackie Chan would have been in it?
No, Woody Harrelson is the mentor, and he's mentoring somebody. But it's Karate Kid.
What if he loses his other hand and he's got double hooks? So he has to. He's just.
I love the first time we meet his landlady. She calls him Captain Hook.
Hell yeah!
Oh, did you guys watch to the very end where you see her do the for like a minute straight to the point where they tell her to where they say cut and then she starts laughing.
Hey, you got to get plenty of extra footage. You never know how much you're going to need.
Yeah, it's very true.
That's funny though.
Yeah,
at least you got that little bit at the end too. So
it's great. I want to see a whole like gag reel from this movie.
Oh, I'm sure it's
so good.
I need bloopers.
There's
bloopers.
There is a 4K of this coming out in May. So I originally bought the Blu-ray, realizing I wasn't going to get it in time before the episode, so I canceled it. And then the next day, I got an alert from Kino Lorber that a 4K is coming out for it. So I'm like, I'll just wait and snag that.
Yeah, we ended up watching it on
Pluto.
TV.
Oh, it was on AMC Plus.
Oh, I realized that. Okay.
And then I bought the R-rated digital cut.
Yeah,
it was like $4. So I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it just to see what the differences are.
Right.
So, yeah. Also, don't watch the R-rated version. The scenes are just pointless. They're really pointless, and one of them doesn't make any sense. Unless somebody can explain to me why the hell they went from the bowling montage to a bunch of priests fucking hosing down a bunch of naked dudes. I don't know. It was very confusing. I was thrown off. I was like, I had to rewind it. I'm like, what the hell was that? Was like sleeping and I woke up at a different movie. Like, what?
Is there something after the credits I missed?
It was weird. But yeah, don't watch that. Watch the regular theatrical version. If you buy the Blu-ray, I believe it has both versions, but it's not worth the R version. For one, that you would think like an R version, a lot of R cuts of movies, usually there's like more swearing, sexual jokes, all that stuff. There's no nudity in this movie. There's really not a lot of swearing other than like son of a bitch, which is super lame.
Shit.
Shit.
Yeah.
There's no fucks in this.
Nope.
I mean, he fucks a blow-up doll, but you don't see anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's what
very
pushed it
tame.
over.
Very tame.
Maybe that was the thing. It's like,
I remember it being way raunchier though. I really do.
Yeah, right?
I remember being so much more raunchy, and I was like, this was not that bad. Like, there's the nipple thing with the freezer or the fridge, which is like, you don't see anything. And then the bowl, the him drinking the bull sperm.
Yep.
That's about it.
Ooh.
So
it's gotta be your bowl.
Actually, a funny fact that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode. Michael Richards, who played Kramer on Seinfeld, he actually met with the Farrelly Brothers privately to for possibility of getting a role. And I guess the conversation didn't go so well to the point where he excused himself to go to the bathroom, and he was in there for a long time, and they're like, maybe we should check on him. I guess they had to break down the door and realize he climbed out the window.
You could just say you're not interested.
They gone wrong.
Like, why is everybody gonna be so eccentric? Just like, no, I'm not interested. I'm leaving. See you guys later. Thank you, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's simple.
I just thought.
That's a wild story, though.
Will Ferrell provided several of the background shout-outs. Uncredited.
I've heard this. Yes.
Yeah. There was. Yeah, like I said, there was actual professional bowlers involved in this movie. Chris Farley was offered the role of Ishmael, but he was contractually obligated for Black Sheep, which came out the same year. Which when you think of the Chris Farley, David Spade movies, Black Sheep isn't the one I think of the most, even though I just picked up I didn't just pick it up, but I found a VHS copy of Black Sheep, so maybe one day I'll.
It's not terrible. There's some decent ones.
Tommy Boy is the better of the two. Tommy Boy is the better of the two.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah, dude.
So
yeah, it's not bad. It's got some pretty decent lines in it.
I guess Nicolas Cage turned down the role of Roy Munson.
Okay.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray would come back and act together in Zombieland, where Bill Murray plays himself.
Yep.
And George Clooney was considered for the role of Stanley Osmanski.
Huh.
Yeah.
That'd been interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
like
it for final stuff.
I could see the dude they had there now as being a piece of shit. I just don't see him doing the whole hitting thing. He's too suave for that.
Yeah.
He's too cool.
Like
for
him being a bad guy. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, like that kind of bad. I could see him like possibly playing a villain, but not like a strike the ladies. Like he'd have some like morals to him.
No. Yeah, but overall, I love this movie. This movie is hilarious. It still holds up almost 30 years later. I'm glad we decided to cover it for our 200th episode. Yeah. So now it's time to go over to social media and see what you all had to say about Kingpin, or just I gave you guys the option. You didn't have to give us a comment on the movie. You could give us a comment on the movie, on what you think of our show, or if you wanted to congratulate us on 200 episodes, because that's pretty cool. We're going to start over on Instagram. Our first one is from Team TNA Podcast, who says, "Oh my God, I love this movie so much. It's so quotable too."
Yes.
Yes, it is. Dewey Podmonster says, "Kingpin holds the distinction of being a top 3 bowling movie, as well likely number 1 spot for an Amish movie."
Okay, I didn't know how many bowling or Amish movies there were. So
I think The Big Lebowski is probably one that people would consider top. I wouldn't.
That's
the funny thing is I know there's bowling in that movie, but I never considered it a bowling movie.
No, it's like bowling adjacent.
Yeah, just whatever.
I always remember the porno.
The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, they're watching a porno in it. It's called Log Jamming.
Sounds hot.
It's wonderful, ma'am. I'm here to fix your pipes. Anyway, no, it's still not as good. Listen, Log Jamming's funny, but it's still not as good as Cop Suckers.
Oh God!
Another time for that story.
It just reminds me of an episode of Friends where the group finds out that Joey was in a porno, but not. He wasn't actually like one of the performers. He was like the background character. He was the guy fixing the fax machine while they're having sex on the fax machine.
I thought. Sorry, that was a good one. Whew. I had that one sneak up on me in a while. Makes me think of the episode of the Friends where they get the free porn and they don't turn it off.
Don't turn it off. Although they turn it off and then they turn it back on, we still have it.
Yep.
No, but the one with that is my favorite thing is when they're watching it and he's like, "Oh, there I am, because it's literally he's saying it because of their thrusting." Out of frame. So good. I fucking love Friends. He said, "We need more movies like Kingpin in our lives. And also, congratulations on episode 200. Thank you so much."
Thank you.
Anna, or Nerd at the Movies, Anna from Baron's Hideout Podcast and Give Me Back My Action Horror Movies. Wonderful person. Says, "Congratulations on 200 episodes, y'all. Love the show, and I'm so happy we found each other on this crazy podcasting journey. Here's to 200 more." Absolutely. Anna, you are a wonderful, wonderful person. Thank you so much.
You'll be here for at least one of those.
Yeah, definitely be back. Definitely check out those 2 podcasts that I mentioned. I was on the Baron's Hideout to talk. I've joined them for a couple episodes to cover the Yellow Jackets series.
Oh, yeah.
Anna has been on the show to talk twice. Once to talk about The Craft, and the other time was to talk about Alien Romulus. So
yes,
a lot of good stuff there. Over on Twitter, Jesse or at Mr_J300 just said, "Love this movie." We do too. Lastly, we did get a couple of comments over on Patreon, so I'm gonna pull those up. And our first one is from Doom Generation. Says, "Congratulations on 200 episodes. Kingpin is such a gross but hilarious movie. We love it."
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Also, Doom Generation, by the time you guys hear this, they have also hit 200 episodes. So make sure to go support Doom Generation. Possibly one of the funniest shows I listen to. Nicole and Tessa are fucking gold when it comes to podcasting, and they are wonderful people. So make sure to check out Doom Generation wherever you listen to your podcasts. Our good friend Daniel Collins says, I watched this movie once and enjoyed it. I can't remember a lot, but I do like it. A huge congratulations on 200 episodes of the podcast. I've been listening for almost 2 years, and I've loved every episode I've heard. Can't wait for episode 400. 400.
Yeah.
Wow. Took us 4 years to do this. That's 8 years
there.
total. Yikes. We'll get there. I feel determined. And the last one on Patreon is from A Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast. Captain Steve Coates himself says, "Congratulations on 200 episodes. 40,000 downloads." Yes, we hit 40,000 downloads on the audio feed, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And just all around being a great bunch of human beings. Steve, you are a fantastic human being.
Thanks,
and I appreciate you. And speaking of Mr. Steve, Mr. Captain Steve, he's going to be our guest next week.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why? Just kidding.
Because I asked him and he said yes.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, I just seriously, before I get into that part of the show, I seriously want to thank everybody who listens to the show, supports the show, and all that, because seriously, we wouldn't have made it 200 episodes without all of your support, and the fact that you download the show and listen to the show. And there are people out there who listen to it every week, and if we don't do something, there's even if a couple people come to us and be like, "Hey, what's going on? No episode," and it's like, that just means that people care. And we really appreciate that. That's seriously why we keep doing it. I think, as I've always said, if we're not having fun doing it, then why do it? But we're having a blast because we know we're not just having fun doing it, but we know that it means something to somebody. Even if it's one person who is like super diehard dedicated to listening to our show, if that's all it takes, and we're going to be here doing this for as long as we possibly can. So thank you very much for the fact that, thank you to everybody who listens, but also thank you to Dan and Angela, who have literally been here since the very beginning, since episode 1, before Dissect That Film was even the name of the show. They weren't even co-hosts yet. They were just guests. And now 200 episodes later, 179 episodes of Dissect That Film when we changed the name.
We're here permanently.
Yep.
He has handcuffed us to the desk and we can't leave.
We need help.
But seriously,
water.
It's just crazy. It's crazy to think that, over the 200 episodes we've been doing this, we've met so many amazing people who also do this crazy thing called podcasting. And we've made some, they're not just podcast friends. They're we've made legit friendships by doing this. So shout out to everybody that we've worked with along the way. This isn't even the biggest show for us for the year, because we got a we have a 4-year anniversary show that's coming out. This is going to be out in the next month. So that one is going to be another one where I overly gush about how much I love everybody who has been a part of this show or is part of this show. And we got we don't have anything set solid on what we're going to be doing, but it's going to be a good time. So stay tuned for an announcement on what we're doing for our 4 years. But 200 episodes, it's done. It's over with. And we loved it. We had a great time. And next week is 201. We're now on to the next 100. And next week's episode, we are going to be, a couple weeks ago, we paid tribute to the late, great Gene Hackman. We talked about Get Shorty. On our next episode, we are going to be paying tribute to the late, great Val Kilmer. And we're going to talk about a movie that not a lot of people talk about. Like when you think about Val Kilmer movies, you think of Batman Forever, which we've talked about on the show. You think about Top Gun. We've talked about Top Gun on the show. Tombstone is a movie that I've seen a lot of people talking about since his passing. So I wanted to talk about a movie that I loved growing up that a lot of people don't really talk about. And it's a really interesting movie that's based on a true story. It's also got another legendary actor, Michael Douglas. And that is, wait, before I do that, I think it's not, I think that's all. This is also a 1996 movie.
No, we couldn't double up.
It is. It's another 1996 film, The Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very excited to hop into that. And like I just said about 5 minutes ago, Captain Steve Coates from the Bucket of Chum movie podcast will be joining us to talk about it. And it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember it being pretty damn good. And Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas, it's a pretty good pair. So join us next week as for episode 201, where we talk about 1996's The Ghost in the Darkness. Figured it's like, oh, why wouldn't you talk about it in 2026? Because sometimes it just happens that way.
Yes.
We already talked about the one he did in 1995. I don't want to talk about Batman Forever again. Unless they unless the Schumacher cut comes out.
Yeah, uncut, baby.
Yeah. Waiting for that. But that's it. Thank you, everybody.
That's what that movie was called.
The Ghost in the Darkness?
Yes.
Oh.
I love that movie.
Yes.
It's about the KKK. It's going to be sweet.
No, stop it.
Just kidding. That's not what it's about. I know
we made it.
About.
We almost made it to the end without something super out of left field from Dan. But you know what? It wouldn't be a Dissect That Film episode without Dan saying something.
Yep, that's true. I had to be there, man.
Okay. Oh, my God. Oh my God. You can follow us on all the social medias at either Dissect That Film Pod on Instagram and Threads, or at Dissect That Film on Twitter and all the other social medias. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/Dissect That Film. I'm talking too fast. Where you can support us for as low as $1. You can get uncut versions of the newest episodes, both the regular show and our Monster Zone episodes. Also, you know, we have polls we throw up there once in a while, and there's maybe some things that I'm trying to figure out what to do with them in the future. I'm not going to talk about them in full, but also we have a Discord that you can join where all of the wonderful people here on the Patreon are hanging out. We have a great conversation over there. You can literally join the Patreon at the free tier and get access to the Discord. So if you want to hop into the Dissect That Film Discord, just hop over to patreon.com/Dissect That Film, join at the free tier or any tier you want, and you get an access link to the Discord. So it's up to you. It's a great time over there. I think that's it. Do I have anything else?
No, probably not.
Probably not. I'm going to think about it once I'm done. Oh, I do. We are going to be participating. I actually don't know when this episode is going to be out, but I'm guessing it's going to be out before the live stream for the Cure event that we are part of. It is May 16th and May 17th. May 16th, I think it's from 4 p.m. to midnight, and on May 17th, it's 8 a.m. to midnight. It's a Friday and Saturday. We will be participating in the event for the third straight year. And we will be, our segment is on Saturday, May 17th at noon. Okay. So come hang out, support a great cause. We're raising money to help fight cancer. And they've raised over $100,000 for the event over the last 9 years. So let's raise some more and let's have some fun.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's about it. That's where I'm going to end. All right, everybody. Lastly, we're going to thank our wonderful patrons. We have Billy Joseph Jr., Andrew Schoening, Captain Steve Coates of the Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast, Corey Morissette, Daniel Collins, Rudy5453, Dustin from the Flicks and Friends Podcast, and the Baron's Hideout Podcast, and B Action. I'm just going to shout them all out. Dan and Angela, Anna Presley, Doom Generation, Eric Stein, Jason, and Robert Stewart. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. Thank you to everybody else for supporting us, period. We appreciate you. We love you. And we hope you have a wonderful week. And we'll see you all next week for The Ghost in the Darkness. Until then, I am Britt Parker. That is Dan and Angela. We are Dissect That Film, and this has been another episode 200 of the Dissect That Film podcast. We'll see you all again on the next one. Bye. Come on, Dan. Come on, Dan.
Ah.
Bye.
I felt really intimate.